Okay, guys, you should have out your own piece of notebook paper for these notes. If you'll get them titled and dated. In this set of notes, we are going to convert repeating decimals to fractions and percents. Okay? So yesterday we were doing in the last video we were doing terminating decimals, so those are numbers that end. But this time are going to be the repeating decimals. Remember, the repeating decimals are those that we can write with the little hat or the bar over the top of the numbers. Okay? Those are going to be the repeating decimals that I'm talking about. Okay? These are fairly simple as well. We'll go through a few examples. All right, so if I give you the fraction 1/3 or 1/3, the process of changing a fraction to a decimal does not change. So you should still be typing in 1 divided by 3 into your calculator. And the decimal that you get is 0.3333, so on and so forth, okay? So we write that as 0.3 with the hat over top of the 3, because 3 is the repeating digit that keeps on going. So this is our final answer for the decimal. Okay, for the percent, this is a little bit different. For the percent, you're going to write down, go ahead and do a few of the repeating digit, whether it's a block of digits or whether it's the same number. Go ahead and write down a couple. You only actually need 4 of them. I shouldn't have written down 5. You really only need 4 of them, okay? So if it's a decimal, to change it to a percent, we're still going to move it 2 places to the right. 1, 2. So that we have 2 3s in front of the decimal, and then, of course, 3's repeating behind the decimal. Instead of using that dot, though, we're going to use the bar again. Okay, so you're going to put that bar over top of the last 3 to show that that is the repeating digit. So 33.3 repeating percent. So all the same process, just might look a little bit different whenever our final answers are written. Let's go ahead and look at another one. So if you're given the decimal, we already know how to do the percent. Okay, so we're going to write down 0.6, and since 6 is repeating, we only need to have 2 or 3. We'll go ahead and do 4. Move it 2 places to the right. 1, 2. Remember, our final answers have to be written without those loop-de-loops. And since I can see that the 6 is repeating, I'm going to put a bar over that last 6. And then you have to label with that percent sign. So 0.6 repeating is the same thing as 66.6% repeating. Okay, now we have to change the decimal to a fraction. So this is a little bit different than yesterday. Okay, you're still going to take the repeating digit or the repeating block of digits, and that's going to go on top of your fraction bar. So since we only have 1 repeating digit, that's the only digit we're going to put on top of our fraction bar. Now yesterday when we were doing terminating decimals, we used a 0, okay, on the bottom. We put a 1 and then we put a 0. But when it's a repeating decimal, your denominator is going to be made up of 9s. So the same process applies. You're going to put as many 9s as there are digits on top. So since I only have 1 digit on top of the fraction, I only need 1 9 on the bottom of the fraction. And then your process still has to be the same on simplifying. So you're going to type in 6 hit that ABC button, type in 9, and hit enter. So 6 over 9 simplifies to 2 over 3. Guys, the nice thing about this is if you type in 6 divided by 9 or you type in 2 divided by 3 in your calculator, you're going to notice that in your calculator window you get 0.666666, okay? So you get the same number that you started with. So you can always double check that you have the correct fraction if you want to. Okay, let's do another one. All right, so 7 over 9. So we're going to divide to get the decimal. So we get 0.7 repeating. Notice in your calculator, though, that your entire window is filled up with 7s except for that last digit. Guys, your calculator rounds. So I always tell my students to look at all the digits except for the last one. You have to ignore that last digit, otherwise it's going to throw you off because your calculator knows to round because it ran out of room. So we can write that as 0.7 repeating. And then to change it to a percent, I write down the decimal. And since it's only one digit, I only need 3 numbers. So then we go 1, 2 to the right. So I get 77.7%. And because that 7 continues, I have to put the bar over it. Guys, it will be wrong if you don't show me in the percent that that digit after the decimal is going to repeat forever and ever. Okay, let's look at this one. This one's a little bit different. The only reason this one's a little bit different is because it has 2 numbers that are repeating, but it doesn't change our process any, okay? So let's go ahead and do a percent first. So when we did our other examples, we wrote down those repeating digits. We wrote down 3 or 4 of them. If it's 2 digits, you have to write down at least 4. And then the process is still the same. You're still going to move the decimal 2 places to the right so that you get 25.25%. And the reason why it's important to have both the 2 and the 5 behind the decimal is because those are going to keep repeating, right? So we have to show both of those numbers in our answer, and we have to put that hat on them. We have to put that bar over top of them. Otherwise, our answer isn't correct. All right, so for a fraction, we put the repeating block on top. So we put the 2 and the 5 on top, and then we put the same amount of 9s on the bottom. So there's 2 digits on the top, so we put 2 9s on the bottom. And then you need to type it in and see if it will simplify. So 25, ABC, 99, and hit enter. And as you notice, it does not simplify. So 25 over 99 is your fraction. All right, a couple more. Okay, this one's a little bit different, and the only reason why it's a little bit different is because there's a number in front where we usually put 0, okay? This doesn't change anything, all right? So the first thing that we're going to do is write down the percent. So you're still going to write out the decimal and write out that repeating number a few times, okay? So this time we have 3.44444. We're still going to move the decimal 2 places to the right. 1, 2. So that we have 344.4. And notice those 4s go on. So 4 repeating. So 3.4 repeating is the same as 344.4%. Now, writing out the fraction is still the same, okay? This number 3 in the front is a whole number, okay? So it gets to be one of those big numbers in front of our fraction. We're going to end up making a mixed number. So if there's ever a digit other than 3 in that front spot, it gets to become a big number in our fraction. Remember, when we make our fraction, we're only using the repeating digit. So in this case, the repeating digit is a 4. Since there's only one repeating digit, we only put 1 9 in the bottom. Now guys, when you go to simplify, only punch in the fraction part. So only punch in 4 ABC 9 and see if that part reduces or simplifies. Okay? And it doesn't, so your final answer is 3 4/9. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 examples, kind of like I did in the last video, 2 examples that you have to work through and complete on your own. And then you need to come and show me those in order to get your notes signed off. So get those 3 examples written down. You're going to try and simplify those on your own. And then come and show me your answers, and if you are correct, I will sign off your notes. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to come ask me or raise your hand and I'll come help you.